Coach, for it to be October, that seemed like a pretty high-level basketball game with turnovers and shooting.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think that for both of us, both Gonzaga and us, it was a great this time of year. I've said for years that I think we ought to be playing 3 or 4 of these games before we even get into the season, because I think it's not only good for us to play this kind of competition, but it's great for the officials to get started. But both teams, first half, it was a high-level game played. I mean, both teams, I think, are pretty good offensive teams, and we were able to, and we knew before the game started we were going to play it with no foul out. We knew that, and so that might have made it a little bit overly aggressive, too, at times, because it was a lot of fouls there early. But overall, both teams, I thought our pace was key for us. I mean, we play with the pace that we need to play with, and hopefully that will help us on the defensive end by wearing our opponents down. But just a great experience for us.
Was that the Tyreek you guys have seen all summer, or did that kind of surpass it?
No, he's been that. We were when we went against Michigan State. The first half he didn't attempt a shot, and he was just out there just moving the ball. And we actually asked him, "So what are you doing?" And he, in his own innocent way, said, "Coach, I haven't played in a year and a half. I'm just getting a feel for it." He played well in the second half against Michigan State, and he looked very relaxed tonight. He did. I thought he really. Yeah, I mean, we've seen him do it. I mean, we knew that he has the ability to get going, and we've watched him do it all summer. And that's also along with the fact that we've tried to work him at point guard a lot throughout the summer, and so he played a little bit there tonight, handling the ball. But yeah, we've seen him get going like that.
Is this a surprise when you see a guy jump from the level he was at into an environment like this and not skip a beat at all?
Not really. I think that when you can put the ball in the basket, and first of all, he came from a level that's extremely good. I mean, the Missouri Valley is a great basketball league, and you see so many of those guys that have transferred up, have done well. But he's got what impressed me tonight, obviously more than his offense, was his defense. I thought in the first half his defense was outstanding. I thought he put together, and I might have a different opinion when I see the tape, but just the way he was in his stance, he was active with his hands, and they're a very hard team to guard. We play with some pace, they play with some pace, and they're hard to guard because they're in constant motion too. They spread you out like we do, way out there, and what would be your normal closeout is not a normal closeout against those guys. But he was really good in the first half.
What changed for y'all defensively in the second half?
I'm not so sure. I mean, they had some shots at the rim, and again, whether it was, they've traveled a little bit further than we did too, and they got in later last night. But I think the pace, our offensive pace, went both ways. I thought tonight, we wanted. I probably should have gotten. I'd really thought about getting Tobey and especially BJ in earlier in the game, and because we do think we got depth, and I think what's helped our team up to this point has been the fact that we've been able to be so competitive in practice. But they missed some shots around the rim that I think they're going to make. And I mean, it's still early in the year. Teams aren't in the type of cardio conditioning they need to be in, and we talked about that ourselves tonight. The cardio toughness. When we get tired, can you go for 2.5, 3 minutes? And if not, you got to tag out and go with somebody else. But they. Again, overall, obviously, we did some good things, but again, fatigue can play a factor in the reason sometimes, teams don't shoot the ball well, but they're an explosive offensive team too.
Seems like Jemai and Jonas really elevated who they are. What's different about them?
They're good. Now, Jemai didn't play as well as he's been playing. He's going to be fine, though. I mean, I'm not worrying about. He's a guy that at halftime we talked about. He's the guy that I wish we'd gotten the game more in the first half. And but Jonas did a good job, and we knew he had to be physical with a player with their front line. I mean, they're big. They're a strong team inside too, and we knew he had to do it. But overall, it was the pace. We wanted to see that kind of pace and see if we could sustain it for as long as we could. But I would say that Jemai and Jonas, they've improved. I would probably go as far as saying that Jemai is probably the most improved player in our program from a year ago. And even though he didn't shoot it well tonight, that's where he's really improved. But and then I thought he got a little frustrated when he started driving the ball, as opposed to just continuing to stay with what he's done up to this point. But he's going to be fine, and we've got a lot of confidence in him because we know he's going to go get us some extra possessions, and he's going to give you everything he's got when he's on the floor.
To do that without Joe and not much from Santi? Does that speak to the potential depth of this team?
Yeah, I do think that we've got it. I mean, obviously you look, Urosh has improved. I think O's still working his way back in. He's had some good moments. Again, cardio-wise, he's still got to improve there. He needs that probably as much as anything. But yeah, without Joe and a guy that has been in a lot of finishes for us, but and again, Santi didn't play great tonight. But that has to do with the fact that he's the first guy on the scouting report that's got the bullseye. I mean, there is no doubt he's the one guy that everybody's going to say we got to get after him.
How do you assess the way your big guys handled Drew Timmy down low?
Well, we're big, strong, physical, and we're different than him, and in terms, but he is a great player. Watching him on tape, what he does, his footwork and his touch. I mean, he's got the hands of a surgeon. I mean, he's just so soft when the ball's in his hand. We knew we had to do our work early with him. You could tell early he was willing to shoot the three, which I'm not sure how many he shot it a year ago. And when he starts adding that dimension to his game, he's going to be really difficult to defend because he gets out there and with his shot fakes, his up and unders. Takes a lot of discipline to guard him, but we didn't think we could guard him with one guy early in the game. We were sending people at him. Zakai early when he went to a spin move, went down and knocked it loose, but he's a handful to guard.
Josiah, is there a timetable?
Yeah, we felt from day one our timetable would be we hope he's going to be ready by the first game. That's what's been our timetable, and because again we're going to make sure that we bring him back. But that's been our timetable, and I don't think it'll change unless something changes it.
Julian, seems like his pattern has been a kind of sleepy first half, big second half. How do you kind of get just the consistency out of him from start to finish?
Well, again, I think when you think about what he's had to deal with is 2 games, his first 2 collegiate games, he goes against Michigan State and Gonzaga, 2 teams that are, strong, physical, fast, and I do think that he's learning, adjusting to the speed of the game. I think he's realizing that he's going to have to extend himself on defense. He's going to have to really learn to get his hands up and use his length. But the biggest thing is going to be getting back, getting ready. He was pressing early. When he can shoot the ball, when you shoot and miss as badly as he did in the first half, you can just tell he's pressing. And I told him, I said, hey, man, forget about the offense. Just get lost on the defensive end, and your instincts will take over on the offensive end. And we ran a play for him coming out of halftime, and he executed, got it going. But again, what he's been thrust into. He's handled it well, and he'll learn from it because he's one of those guys that will ask, what do I need to do to get better, and he'll work at it.
You said earlier in the preseason that you felt better about the front court scoring, but you need to see it in the game. Just how would you assess offensively from Olivier, Jonas, and Eros?
Well, up to this point, they've proven that they can do it. If they get the ball in the right position, if they get it where they can do something. And that's the whole point of this game is knowing what you're good at, knowing where your space on the floor is, and can you get there? Can you get it there? And if they do that, yeah, I do think they have the ability to score. And then you could tell how excited they were for Tobey tonight, getting a chance to go out and play. And I thought BJ coming in for his first time playing in college basketball, he really had a good week this week. I think not playing much at all against Michigan State, I think it got his attention because he was turning the ball over too much and making mistakes, really trying to be overly aggressive. But he had a good week this week, and I'm glad he was able to get some time tonight.
Is there a number of minutes that's too much for Zakai? In your mind?
Well, I don't know. I think all their minutes out there, Santi, Zakai, I think it'll all come down. Joe gets back because because of his versatility and where he can play, and Tyreek, and Jemai. I think we'll have to figure that out, to be quite honest with you. And but Zakai is one of those guys. You talk about cardio toughness. He and Santi have it as well as any 2 players you'll see on a team. They can get through it. They find a way to do it. Both of them, though, they hurt themselves sometimes when they make a mistake. They're so hard on themselves, they come back and try to do too much. And that's what they've got to both get out of their game. But in terms of their cardio, they can go all night long.
You wish this wasn't an exhibition after notching this result?
No, you know what? I mean, again, I think we need more. I've said it, more of these. I think it's not only good for college basketball. I think it's good for. I think it is as good as it is for us. I think it's even better for referees. I think they need this kind of high-level game before we get into classics, doing different things. But you know, again, I respect Mark Few as much as any person I've ever met in my life. You know, not only as a coach but as a person, and he's a dear friend, and his team, believe me, they'll be there in the end. They will be.